Got one area of rotation right over the southeast side of Amon Carter. Maybe a weaker tornado perhaps in that area. The stronger of the two tornadoes appears to be now entering into Montague County. And of course, Cameron's trying to get himself in position for all that now. But right there, just northeast of Truce, there's your rotation. There's your tornado. This is the tornado we've been tracking for a while now. Kind of developed down towards Jacksboro, and it kind of continues to make its way. Yeah, if you can, keep Cameron in that little box here. There we go. That's what we want to see. That's your storm chaser feed there. And wow, that's a pretty low. Let's go to Cameron. Cameron, that's a pretty low wall cloud there on your feed there.
Yeah, Ken, it is a pretty low wall cloud this time. I don't see any funnels or any tornadoes on the ground this time, but we're moving kind of parallel with it now on the southern side of Montague County, about 2 miles outside of Sunset, Texas. And it's hard to see too low below the cloud bases on my end because the tree lines make it difficult, but I can see getting better visuals now where we're at. But yeah, you can definitely see a wall cloud out there. So we're moving, again, still moving parallel with it, Ken, but definitely a wall cloud on this storm, but I do not see a tornado at this time. But again, my sidelines are still being slightly restricted by trees, Ken.
Which part, there's two areas of rotation we're watching. Which one would that be, Cameron?
This area of rotation you're looking at is going to be the one that is sitting just south of Bowie, in between Bowie and Sunset, Texas. That's the area of rotation that we're following right now, Ken.
Your rotating area there, what you're looking at. So there's two areas of rotation. Of course, both of them, actually maybe three now. So, but I will say this, that this rotation, that's been the stronger of the two. It appears to be a little bit weaker now than it was. There is and it doesn't look like this one's on the ground here. You can see that from Cameron's feed there, but the weak circulation just east of Amon Carter, about to cross right over 287 between Bowie and Sunset here. Let's go back, Cameron. That's a pretty good feed right there. Is that a pretty large wall cloud there? You got a good shot of it there. Y'all stay put right there and let's look at it.
Yeah, Ken, that is a wall cloud you're seeing at this time. So we're sitting here again. I just saw the county line. We just crossed into Montague County. So we are on the very far southern portions of Montague County right now. And you're looking right at the storm right now. We're sitting just off of Highway 81 at this time. This one will be crossing Highway 81 here soon. But yeah, you can see the wall cloud very well defined at this time. And again, I still don't see anything on the ground at this time, but we are on a hill, so we do have some better visuals right now.
So that little wall cloud there. Is that the rain base, or is there perhaps maybe a larger, a wall cloud in that rain base there, or can you tell?
I'm actually going to do here, Ken, get out really quick and walk across the street and get a better visual, look through some of the tree breaks outside the tractor really quick, Ken.
And we're going to keep you in a box here. We're going to go back to radar. And again, the storm really doesn't look nearly as impressive. I think that it's either doing one of two things. It's either going through a cycle right now, or it's going it could be weakening a bit, as there's really no sign of any real significant rotation area. There's a couple of areas here. Well, there we go. I had to switch velocities, but none of them are super strong. I will say that the one that Cameron is on at this present time is probably the strongest of the little circulations that we're watching. Let's look at the reflectivity. I think it's just a very large rain-wrapped beast here. We call this a high precipitation supercell. It means it's producing a lot of heavy rain, and the rotation within it is kind of embedded within the storm. You've also got other supercells trying to develop along I-35. They're going to head north into southern parts of Oklahoma. That's out in the warm sector. Back to the west, just heavy rain and maybe some small hail back into the Albany area, Archer City, Throckmorton, those areas. We get down into Montague County here, and again, we're watching for any of these signs. And again, none of these rotation centers at this point in time appear to be that strong. You can almost see as that bright green color began to dissipate there a bit as it crossed over into Montague County here. That shows the tornado, that particular tornado dissipating. But again, this thing can still wrap back up. So if you live in Bowie, the time now is that you should have already been in your shelter. Cameron, I'm going to go back to you. You got a pretty nice feed there, pretty nice view there. Have you been able to get outside and observe what's going on with the storm?
Yeah, Ken, I did get and observe, and we do see a wall cloud, but it's also got a lot of rain on it, so it's really hard to see into the storm. But we can also see the the RFD, the rear flanking downdraft this time wrapped around the storm as well. But I can't see deep enough into the storm, so we're going to have to keep doing here. We're going to push up 81 now and go north, and just hopefully find some more breaks along 81 and just keep moving alongside this. But I still can't see anything on the ground at this time. What I do know, though, is that you got a pretty impressive storm. The winds here at the surface are blowing right into the storm, so it does have some good support from the atmosphere right now to try to produce a tornado, but nothing I can report on in terms of a tornado right now, Ken.
The right with the camera some there, Cameron. Go back to the right just a little bit there. Yeah, that's kind of the area I'm looking at. And, you know, a lot of times you try to look for rain-free base. Of course, this is a high precipitation supercell, so it's going to be difficult to see anything. But, you know, a lot of times when that rear flank downdraft begins to what they call RFD cut, you'll see a clear slide open up, and then there you get a tornado, and I don't really see that, you know, at this point in time with that. But again, this is getting pretty close to Bowie. Actually, I believe the area of rotation that you're on, I believe that you're kind of in this area near Fruitland. And, you know, the rotation, at least on radar, is not very impressive at this time. There's still some circulating winds in there, and I'm certainly not sounding the all clear in Bowie. Actually, here's another, this is another confirmed tornado. So let's see what the Weather Service here says about this. It's like we got, and this is a report as of 7:02. Looks like another tornado is on the ground here. Let me see what they're saying here. So 4 miles to west, obscured by rain. All right, so a tornado appears in progress based upon the radar, and I don't, you know, it's hard to tell. Of course, it's a long way from the radar site itself, but it looks to me like if you're going to have a tornado in this area, it doesn't look super strong to me, but again, it's a long way from the radar, and a lot of the rain could be kind of hiding perhaps maybe some of the strength of it. But it looks like it's crossing the road, crossing 287 there between Bowie and Fruitland. So if you live just southeast of Bowie here and Fruitland, those areas, and up towards Salona, looks like a possible tornado. Of course, the Weather Service says this is confirmed. It's headed in your direction. We've got Cameron's feed up, but Cameron, I don't see anything on your feed really. This is crossing 287 between Bowie and Fruitland, headed right out towards Salona. Cameron, what do you see there on your feed now? Pretty low wall cloud there, right?
Yeah, what you're looking at right now, what we're seeing here is you're seeing the RFD. I can't see a wall cloud from where I'm at. I'm sitting just outside of Sunset, Texas, Ken, so that's south of Bowie. You're looking down 81 right now, or 287 right now, excuse me, looking north right now. So the winds, though, I tell you what, Ken, the winds right now are really picking up compared to when I just talked to you. The winds are really cranking on this thing right now, so it's pulling in some really favorable air, but I don't see anything too low at this time, but I'm still watching, Ken, but it looks like it's definitely starting to organize a little bit better right now.
Winds, or are you getting some outflow winds? What are you getting there?
These are definitely going to be some inflow winds, Ken. The winds are flowing directly right into the storm right now.
We're going to go back over to radar. Looks like you might have to kind of position yourself, but you know, we still look some decent rotation kind of between Fruitland and Sunset. Maybe a little rotation there, maybe a little tornado on the ground, maybe over the southeast side of Bowie, very close to that, headed up towards Salona. So multiple areas of rotation, and then from here it's going to head up towards Montague and Salona. So if you live in those areas, you want to be taking shelter here pretty soon here. So amateur radio reported confirmed a tornado on the ground there near just northwest, or actually this is 3 miles southwest of Fruitland. So that would show it kind of southwest of Fruitland, but you know, from what I see, you know, maybe that would be with this circulation there. But the part that I'm just kind of watching just several areas in there of rotation. It's just a big storm, and there's several areas of rotation. So really anywhere from Bowie to Salona, Fruitland. This is mostly north of Sunset. Those are the areas that need to be taking cover and shelter at this point in time. You can see Cameron's feed. It looks to me like what you're doing is you're looking into the rain shaft, the rain shaft of the storm, and it's so wrapped in rain it would be very difficult, and it'd probably be almost dangerous to get inside of that since this is confirmed tornadoes. In fact, this is what I believe this was the little tornado here, a little weak one there, just passing just kind of near the Fruitland area, kind of headed up towards Salona. You can see that right in here. You still have rotation back on the back side of it, wrapped in rain, perhaps near or just southeast of Bowie here. So we see the strong inflow winds coming in here. And then you can see the rear flank downdraft moving around on the back side of it. Actually, this is going to be some inflow winds here too coming into the storm. really wrapping around, and then you got your rear flank downdraft coming around the backside, and you get these opposite motions in the wind here, and that's what leads to what we call a bit of a vorticity or low pressure. It causes the pressure at this part of the storm in a very small area to lower, and as that happens, you get condensation and you get tubes that come down to the ground here. Cameron, it looks like a pretty scary cloud you're looking at right there on radar. It looks like you're along 287. You can almost see some lowering in that, and within that rain curtain there. So what are you seeing there, Cameron, and what are you guys getting off that? What are you doing right now?
Yes, we just pulled off 287 for a brief second just to get another sight line going really quick here. But I mean, these are some scary looking clouds, Ken. But what I believe we're seeing right now, I believe you're still looking at the rear flank downdraft, but this thing is absolutely rain wrapped to the absolute max right now. So it's really hard to see deep into the storm. With that being said, it's hard to get close because of that. But we're going to turn this camera just a little bit. But I do believe you can almost see, I believe that's a wall cloud right there, but it's hard to disseminate that right now from the rear flank downdraft. But at the radar presentation with the velocity is a bit messy right now, but actually, yeah, I do believe that is the wall cloud right there, right through the rear flank downdraft. You can see it right in the middle of your screen at this time. Let me see, I'm going to angle the camera a bit better if you can. Hang on one second. Hang on 1 second, Ken.
There it is on the radar, pretty significant rotation area crossing 287. Let's go back to Cameron's shot again here. Cameron, so the shot you had up a minute ago was great. I don't know, what did you do differently?
All right, there we go, Ken, right there. I believe that right there, I think you're looking at a wall cloud right there in the middle of your screen right now, Ken. I think that's the wall cloud. As you can see the rear flank downdraft wrapping around this thing right now, but I do believe right through that, in the middle of the screen, I believe that is your wall cloud right there, but I don't see anything coming out of it, but it's definitely going to be wrapped in rain. I mean, this rain, these are some, what you said, you know, high HP storms, a lot of rain coming down with these, but watching it, and I'm probably going to screen maybe a little bit further north as well, but again, with these being rain wrapped, they're going to be hard to see, but that's the latest, Ken.
All right, so again, this is going to be on 287 there. Let's go back to the radar. Cameron, we have a significant area of rotation. It has really wrapped up now. And like you said, it's probably wrapped in rain, and you're not going to be able to see it. But I think we got, it looks to me like we got a tornado there in progress on the southeast side or just southeast of Bowie here at this point in time. Let's see here. Spotter advises extremely strong winds at his location. Nothing new, but pretty strong rotation on radar that is wrapped in rain there. You can see those greens and those reds wrapping up. It looks like it's trying to wrap up near Bowie now. So I don't know that we have a tornado on the ground, but this is some very strong rotation. Keep Cameron's feed there going into the corner so we can keep an eye on that. But we have very strong rotation pretty much over the southeast and just southeast of Bowie here. Strong rotation here. We got the strong rear flank downdraft winds coming around the backside of it. And what a rear flank downdraft is, coming from the mid-levels of the thunderstorm, it's air that sinks down on the backside of the thunderstorm, and then the rotation kind of wraps it on around here. And so as that happens, you get another area, what we call inflow. This is that warm, moist air flowing into the thunderstorm. So it's these opposite motions that create low pressure or vorticity that can become a tornado here. It's a pretty large area. There's a couple of areas in there where it might be a bit tighter, but we got pretty large rotation there now, near and just southeast of the town of Bowie, getting really close to the town of Salona now. I would believe that this is very close to maybe where the Walmart is there in Montague County. You can see a lot of spotters there on the side of the road, but pretty close to where the Walmart is in Bowie here on the southeastern side of Montague. And then this is going to continue to cross headed towards and just northwest of Salona. And you got to remember, Montague is up here, and then you got Nocona up the way here. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and kind of do some downstream forecasting. Montague, you're going to be next, or possibly next, then eventually Montague. Nocona, excuse me. Not Nocona, probably be closer to 8 o'clock before it got to you. But this has been a consistent rotating thunderstorm. It's produced multiple tornadoes. You can really see the inflow winds really wrapping on back around it. And there's your rear flank downdraft there, really coming back, wrapping around on the back side here. As soon as this thing tightens up, it's going to produce a tornado here. I've got a feeling it's going to do it. Just based upon the way the radar looks, pretty soon it might be getting ready to drop another tornado here just east or on the east side of Bowie. You can see the feed down here. Cameron, the radar looks like this thing's about ready to drop another tornado here. Are you seeing anything from your vantage point?
No, Ken, we're pushing into the storm right now, pushing closer to the area of circulation, but it is raining so hard. You're about to see it here on camera. We're getting into the rain right now, so it's going to be rain wrapped to no end, that's for sure. So I don't know from my vantage point right now, Ken. I don't think we're going to be able to see this thing. If it is on the ground right now, we will not be able to see it. It is just raining so hard, and I'm trying not to jeopardize the entirety of my chase right now. And the problem I have right now, Ken, is the road networks aren't super ideal at this time. But yeah, I mean, you can see it's really starting to come down now. So this thing is going to be wrapped right. You are not going to see this thing coming. I mean, we're in the storm right now on the southern tail of it, but we're not going to see anything on our end, Ken. It's just too rain wrapped right now.
Back to radar, and if you do get into a better area, we'll come back to you there. So that's the Comanche Nation Entertainment First Alert Storm Tracker. Cameron is out and about in it here. So again, we got strong rotation, but it's kind of broad at this time. There might be some tightening up here or there. Hopefully this doesn't drop another one, but the rotation appears to be kind of moving, kind of north now. It was moving north. It's kind of moving north over the east side of Bowie, and it's really kind of moving fairly slow. And again, this is wrapped in rain. There's hail in this as well as heavy rainfall, and there could be some really strong winds blowing. As a matter of fact, the inflow winds into this storm are super, super strong. So I'm going to kind of stop this from moving. I'm going to draw on here what we're seeing. This is going to be your inflow here into the thunderstorm. That's your warm, moist air coming around. This is going to be what we call your rear flank downdraft coming on back around it. And you get these opposite wind motions here, these opposite motions in the thunderstorm that create these spins and create these wall clouds and create these tornadoes and whatnot here. So that is what we are keeping an eye on. Let me see if there's anybody that's got anybody reports on social media here at this hour here. So I know the feed dropped a minute ago, but I had to come back. I got it back on here. So Amanda Grigg says, getting hail. We're 8.5 miles outside of Bowie in between Montague and Stoneburg. So Randall says it is on the ground. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know how strong it is on the ground. The Weather Service has said several times that it's on the ground. But at this point in time, hard to see. Radar is messy, difficult to interpret. Velocity data appears tornado may be on the far southeast side of Bowie. We've been talking about that, and we continue to kind of see it. But the rotation, while it is pretty significant, is pretty broad. But even with that said, based upon radar signature here, there's still probably somewhat of a tornado there that could be ongoing here at this point in time. Let me take some of these arrows off and whatnot. I don't have any reports at this point in time of anything on the ground. Just got a pretty good area of rotation. And there also could be, in addition to that, like I say, some really strong winds blowing in this thunderstorm. That is a very large mesocyclone with this thunderstorm, very large. I can stop this from moving, and this is now kind of basically over the eastern side of Montague, kind of moving into Salona, headed towards Montague. So if you are in Montague, you need to be taking shelter. This is headed towards you now. A very large area of rotation. It's and then it's going to eventually head up maybe towards the east side of Nocona, maybe even late Nocona here. But there's your large circulation, your large mesocyclone. And within that, this is where your updraft is in your thunderstorm. Remember, it's getting fed in by the warm, moist air out here, out ahead of this little frontal boundary. It's kind of feeding into the thunderstorm. So there's your circulating winds. This would be your inflow winds right in this area. There's your rear flank downdraft. So you get this large spin here. This is your large updraft or large mesocyclone. And where you really start getting the wind motions that get tighter in there, that's where you could see a possible tornado. But this is so wrapped in rain. I mean, Cameron's been really trying to get in position this afternoon to be able to see this thing. And every time he starts getting a little bit closer, it just runs into more heavy rain here with it. So it's real difficult to see this particular storm here. But, you do see strong rotation within the thunderstorm. You got some tighter circulation. So there could be maybe multiple little areas maybe of funnels trying to come down, but this is your really strong rotation right in there. You've got real strong winds coming around on the backside. You got strong inflow in it. I see no reason to believe that this is either not producing a tornado at this point in time excuse me, I'm sorry, let me think what I'm saying here. I have no reason to believe this is not producing a tornado at this time, but I don't have any confirmation. But it's so wrapped in rain, it's going to be difficult. You're not going to see this. I don't think you're going to see it. I think basically, if you're in your safe spot, you're going to get hit with a lot of heavy rain. And if there is a tornado, it's just going to come right there with the rain. We got a lot of these when I was growing up as a boy in Mississippi and doing weather in Mississippi. We got a lot of these HP type thunderstorms. And, oftentimes this is what makes them so dangerous. And not only that, but it's also starting to get a little bit later into the evening, so it's getting a little bit darker, so it makes it even more difficult. So these are dangerous thunderstorms. So, you know, this is a serious situation. Now, Bowie, it looks like to me, you still might be getting some heavy winds in this area, but the circulation anyway has now passed to your east. And this is now coming up on the county seat here of Montague, into Montague County. So if you are into Montague, you know, get ready here. Strong winds, heavy rain, hail moving over you. And again, you really are seeing some strong winds, you know, kind of into this thunderstorm area here, and a big, large area circulating winds as well. Let's go back over here. I'm going to look at what we call reflectivity in the thunderstorm here and see if there's anything that looks any different with it here at this time. And it is getting on the edge of the. I'll tell you what, folks, that is very. Look at that signature. You can see hail now wrapping around the updraft of that thunderstorm here. Very dangerous thunderstorm. This is a beastly storm. It's been ongoing for quite some time now. It's moving right over the county seat of Montague. Hail has increased in Montague now. Hail is going to increase into Nocona. And then if you're up towards Lake Nocona, you know, my son, he got engaged a couple of weeks ago at Lake Nocona. And this is headed up into that general direction, or maybe just kind of northeast from there. It's but if you are into Montague, you need to be taking shelter now. Now, these storms that are developing out ahead of it, you know, if these get into the warm inflow region of the storm, they could help weaken this some. So let's hope that happens. We can go down to the south, and there's other storms in Jacksboro, or lifting kind of just north of Jacksboro now. Those are just heavy rain and maybe a little bit of a small hail producer. Then we look back off to the west. Look at all that heavy rain now. It stretches. And then we could see some flooding. Flooding could become a concern here soon. But this heavy rain area, basically in a constant band, is from Olney down to the south, just east of Woodson, near Throckmorton, just west of Graham. It extends northward into Archer City. This is going to be moving into Wichita Falls shortly. So heavy rain, especially across the eastern parts of the area as we get into the evening hours here. So once again, we're looking at velocities, very messy, what we call very messy signatures on the radar here. You do got a lot of strong spinning winds in there, and may have some tornadoes that are developing into that area. If I had to say right now, I do see what looks like a little bit is what we call gate-to-gate shear, just northeast or just east-northeast of Bowie, or just barely here south of Montague. That'll be crossing 455 pretty soon. Cameron, looks like you've finally gotten out of the rain. Where are you guys at this point in time?
Yeah, Ken, we did. We finally got out of the rain. It was, that rain is treacherous, led to some flooding. But we're going now. I'm going a little further east, Ken. I'm dropping a little further southeast, then east, and then cutting north to get how to get out of the rain, because that rain, it's blinding rain out there with these storms. But we were just southeast of Bowie, coming off 287, and there were some tree limbs down. No, I didn't see any major damage with this storm, but there were some tree limbs down in the road, and the flooding is also quickly becoming an issue. These storms, the water does pond up pretty quickly on these roads. But there was. Some limbs in the road, nothing major, but.
All right, I'm looking at a picture from the Weather Service of the tornado. That was a big tornado in Jacksboro earlier. It was really big. So it is a very large tornado that was in Jacksboro earlier. I'm looking at video from the Weather Service here. My wife actually just sent me a video of it as well, and that was a big tornado. But fortunately, just based upon what I'm looking, it was definitely wrapped in rain. But, it doesn't look like it was particularly strong, so that's definitely some good news. It was multiple vortices, but I am watching that on the Facebook feed here. It looks like, I'm sorry, but my OBS went down again, so I'm having to go back in and put my feed back up. So, Cameron, I'm going to go to you while I'm trying to get my Facebook feed back up. So, again, looks like multiple tornadoes. Looks like the storm might be producing another one just southwest of Montague. How close are you to being able to intercept that?
Let's see here. You said southwest of Montague. I'm pretty much I'm a good spot right now. I'm kind of setting myself up back towards Sunset so I can go northeast towards Forestburg. The tricky part now is the road network does become a bit more unfavorable here. I don't necessarily have due north, due east, due south, due west options with these roads out here, so it does become a bit more tricky. But you've got multiple areas in the storm that are trying to rotate. I see that one just north of Sunset right now, but I still think you're dominating. Obviously, the better one is near Montague. So I'm going to try to cut. It's going to be a couple minutes, Ken, but I'm going to do my best to cut into that one, as I do have to make a bit of a northeast push. And I also, another thing too with the storm is I can't necessarily fall right behind it just because of the way how blinding the rain is. Plus, if there is any damage down the roads, it could ultimately completely cut me off from my travel. So again, I'm kind of dropping a little further south, cutting back off to the northeast in the next about minute or so, and then I'll be getting back into position on that storm. So it's getting me out of the rain and let me get into a better position with this storm.
Down, so I'm trying to get it back up and running now. But you know, we can go back over to the radar, and these are again, these are some pretty still some fairly significant areas of rotation that is showing up on the radar here. So that's something we certainly will continue to have to watch as they make its way north. You can see pretty significant rotation now. This is northeast of Bowie, and it still looks like to me there's a tornado on the ground, and it's about to head right at Montague. So if you're in the town of Montague, you need to be taking shelter immediately here. So, I mean, this is a pretty nasty thunderstorm, and this is headed right at Montague at this point in time. So, again, I'm trying to get my Facebook feed back up and running again here so we can make sure everybody gets the information that is needed here. So, let's just give me just a second here while I work on that. But, again, if you're in the town of Montague, this is still, you know, it's not a confirmed you know, rotation, a confirmed area of rotation, but it certainly is something that, you know, excuse me, a confirmed tornado, but it is something that is certainly that bears watching here at this point in time. So, yeah, I know it's down. I'm trying to get it back up. I'm not sure why it keeps going down, but I'm trying to get it back up again. So just give me a second here, and I'll see what I can do with it. But we're watching this storm again on the west side there of Montague. This is you know, pretty significant. This, you know, oftentimes when you get these significant tornadoes, they'll do this. They will what's called, they kind of wrap around. You'll see them kind of cyclic. You'll see them kind of sometimes move a little right, but sometimes you'll see them move a little bit left too. Now this tornado looks like it's northeast of Bowie, but it's about to move right over the west side of the town of Montague. So if you are in the town of Montague, you know, you need to be, we've already been talking about you for a while, and then eventually it's going to be up towards Nocona. You're going to be next. So anybody that is within those areas need to be in their safe spot now. So what do you do? What's the places you should be? Of course, lowest level of your house is where you should be. You should never be upstairs. First thing that's going to go is the upstairs. You need to be downstairs, lowest level of your room. In addition to that, you also need to make sure that you're out of those mobile homes. Do not be in mobile homes during times of tornadoes. Get out of those as quickly as you possibly can. In addition to that, you know, the closet, bathroom, use pillows, cushions, whatever, to shield your head from any possible debris. Now, it looks like the rotation may have weakened just a little bit northeast of Bowie. It's still a little spin there, but it looks like it might have weakened a bit. We'll see if this thing cycles back up. Still looks like there could be a little bit of a tornado that's near the town of Bowie. Could be, but we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on it and see what this thing does here. But it looks like there may be still a little weak tornado, maybe just kind of on the west side of Montague. But keep in mind that these storms have a tendency. Oh, looks like we do got our Facebook feed back up and running again there. So that's good news. So. Oh, went back down again. Give me just a second. I'm trying to get it back up. But we will continue to watch this storm super close as it continues to again, show signs of kind of recycling a bit. So that's something we could certainly, you know, continue to deal with a bit here. So we'll watch it and see what happens as far as that goes. I'm trying to put this in. Give me a second here. Maybe we can get this back up and running for you. All right, we should be back up and going again now. So, all right, so those of you that have been watching this on social media, sorry about that. I'm not sure why we went down, but we went down for a minute, but we should be back up and running here really, really soon. Yeah, I know on social media. There we go. Well, we should be back good. Now, again, what you're seeing is it looks like the storm has really, the tornado has really weakened a lot. In fact, I don't even know that this thing is even on the ground. And if you look at the overall radar signature presentation of the storm, it is not as impressive as it was. There's still a rotating updraft in there, but I no longer see the super strong rotation like we were seeing. Now, these storms that are kind of over here, maybe east of it, could be choking off some of the warm, moist inflow into the thunderstorm. And that could have something to do with it. Now, if you're in the town of Bowie, the threat for a tornado, at least with this part of the storm, is over with. I'm looking down to the south to see if there's anything else showing up, and right now I do not see anything else that's showing up. But again, we do see still see some rotation. It's not quite as strong as it was, but we do still see some rotation in the thunderstorm cloud there that is kind of approaching the Montague area here at this point in time. So if you are in the Montague area, then you definitely still need to be taking shelter because there's still a couple areas of rotation in there. Cameron, are you getting in position? What are you seeing from your location?
Yeah, Ken, still not seeing a whole lot. I'm working on getting in position. The big thing that kind of hurts me right now, Ken, is just the way the roads are set up out here. I'm pushing. What I'm doing is I'm going towards, about to be in the Forestburg area. Then at that point, depending on where the storm is located, I'm going to either cut north towards Montague and work down 82, or I'll cut up towards St. Joe. But I'm trying to get the idea here on the storm trajectory. If you want to talk with me about this, about if you think I should go towards the St. Joe area, or if I should go towards the Montague. This does have a bit more of a northerly motion, but if I go towards the Montague area, the problem is I will quickly get caught up in all the rain and everything. But not for long, though. But Ken, if you want to talk about what we should, what you think would be a good plan here, I'm all ears.
It's Montague and Nocona. Those are the two areas that you should be going towards. On radar, again, it's it's a messy storm. It's really hard to track a lot of this activity here, a lot of this these areas of rotation. But I do still see a rotation right there, right near the county seat, which is Montague. You still got these strong rear flank downdraft winds showing up. You still got the circulation. And I also want to point out there's another thunderstorm that's developed on the southwest side of this, and there's a new little area of circulating winds that are showing up now over Bowie, or about to cross Bowie, just north of Amon Carter here. This is what we call a flanking storm. So we'll have to see if this is going to be a problem, but this is going to be crossing over Bowie shortly. No tornado warning for that part of the storm, but it certainly isn't out of the question. But we are still seeing a rotating part of the thunderstorm near Montague, and this is lifting north up towards Nocona. Now, the way it's been doing it, it's been kind of cycling and recycling. You'll see these areas of rotation that will develop, they will weaken, and then they begin to come back. So even if the storm does weaken, and I still think it might have weakened some, it still can spin up on it just about any time. You still see these bright green colors, which still represent some strong winds within the storm blowing towards the radar, and we still see these red colors wrapping in, but it is not as organized as it was. There still could be something just northeast of Montague and kind of lifting due north up towards Nocona. But this could be what we call occluding now, and when it occludes, it kind of lifts back to the left a little bit and it begins to weaken. So that might be happening. This has been producing tornadoes off and on throughout the afternoon here, so we're not letting our guard down. At least the initial tornado threat has passed northeast of Bowie. And I do see, like I say, a little bit of a secondary areas of circulation there kind of moving into Bowie. And there's a new confirmed tornado there warning from the Weather Service here over Montague. So we still see that right in there, just northeast of Montague. And this is lifting due north. So if you're in Nocona, you need to be taking shelter now. This is moving right at you. This is a messy storm, but it has been producing a lot of tornadoes this afternoon. So if you are in those areas, and again on radar, it's just so hard to determine exactly what's taking place with this because, I mean, it just doesn't look, super organized. But you can still see what looks like a rain-wrapped tornado there just west of Montague, about to move right over the town of Montague at this hour here. Of course, Cameron's trying to get in position now at this point in time, but it's just a lot of heavy rain out there, which makes it very, very difficult to do that. I'm trying to read here from the Weather Service here. So let's see here. So from Bowie, this is from the emergency manager, City of Bowie, Kirk Higgins. Said he saw some photos on X, or no, actually he said he got a rain-wrapped tornadoes being reported just west of Montague at the present time. So they are reporting, this is from the emergency manager, reported a tornado just west of Montague. But again, this is so wrapped in rain, it's going to be very difficult to see this. But yeah, there you can see it on radar. Now it looks like, at least on the velocities, you can still see this tornado there, wrapped in rain there just west of Montague, about to cross 1806. Tornado on the ground there at that. And with this being so far, it's a good ways away from the radar, so it's going to be difficult to see it. Let me switch and see if we can see it any better. No, we don't really see it much better out of Frederick, but you do see it pretty decently out of the Fort Worth area here. And if you look, the rotating part of the storm is lifting northward. But but every time we get new radar feeds that come in, it suggests that it's weakened a bit. But it does continue to at least appear to be producing spin-ups from time to time as it lifts northward. But at least based upon radar signatures, it's not quite as strong as it was, but there still could be a little weak tornado in there about to cross 1806 just west of Montague, and this will be headed up towards Nocona shortly. So if you are in Nocona, you know, this could be heading in your general direction. Let's switch the velocities here and see. You know, just don't really see you know, just so many areas where it could possibly be just a big thunderstorm. But in addition to, you know, tornadoes, this thing's also producing a lot of hail and heavy rain. Flash flood warnings are up though for this thunderstorm. And again, this is a high precipitation thunderstorm. It's going to be very difficult to see any type of tornado within it. It's wrapped in areas of rain and hail. I mean, this thing is about as wrapped in rain as you can possibly be here. You know, the atmosphere is just loaded with a lot of moisture over in this area, and so these things are just putting out a lot of rain. We can also look down to the south. I'm looking at other storms down towards the Jacksboro area. I'm not certain at this point in time where the frontal boundary is, but it looks like there might be some new areas of rotation developing, maybe along the frontal boundary just north of Jacksboro. And if this is indeed where the boundary is located, which it probably is, we'll have to watch and see if any of this area of rotation increases as that lifts up towards southeastern Clay and into southwestern parts of Montague County. But for now, only flash flood warnings in those areas. But these are the ones on the southern end are the ones you have to kind of keep an eye on. Now back off to the west, you are seeing a lot of heavy rainfall that's basically just swallowing up Young County. And I would expect some flood warnings to be issued for some of these here. Heavy rainfall extending up into southern parts of Archer County. Heavy rain and thunderstorms finally moving into Wichita Falls here, but these are well below severe limits. If we do see anything with these, maybe some very small hail. Matter of fact, I hear the first clap of thunder here at the station. We look down to the south, and we got another wave of storms down to the south of us. So we got the main upper air storm system is west of us here tonight. So as this begins to kind of enter the picture and moves eastward here, we're going to wind up seeing these storms that are down to the south. We're going to see those build northward. So we got more storms coming. Yeah, it's going to be, I think, going to be a pretty stormy night tonight. But the main thing we're worried about with those would just be heavy rain, some hail, gusty winds, heavy, and maybe some flooding rains. At least at this point in time, we're watching these storms on the east side of Texoma that have produced some tornadoes, and they may continue to do so. Looking at the latest velocity scan, it's just a real messy signature. But, you know, when you get these storms that are, you know, really enshrouded in rain like this, it's not uncommon to see that happen. And there still could be multiple areas of rotation and maybe some very weak tornadoes within this here. I'm not saying this are producing tornadoes, but there could be some weak tornadoes within this area. And if we kind of take a look at the town of Montague here, there's Montague, and you can see the little spin just west of the county seat here, and this one is lifting almost due north. So it's possible that we could see this little spin head up towards Nocona, maybe even pass along 82 here pretty soon, probably around or after 8 o'clock. As of right now, it doesn't look like a major tornado, but remember, these storms have had a history of cycling, and they'll weaken a bit, maybe even dissipate, only to intensify again to produce more tornadoes. So we're not going to let our guard down at all. There's other little areas of maybe some weak circulation showing up south of Montague and southwest of Montague here. But of course, these will be little small areas embedded within the rain. You got this one big, large rotating updraft or mesocyclone in this area, and then you got several little small vortices perhaps developing within it here. I do not have reports of a lot of damage. As Cameron said earlier, a little few tree limbs down here or there, but nothing major reported. But I do think we still got perhaps maybe a very weak tornado just west of Montague here into Montague County, and this is going to lift right up here northward and head right at Nocona. But on the latest radar sweep there, again, you can see it's kind of taking it out. So whatever we're seeing in this now appears to be much weaker, or it appears to be based upon radar signatures. And it also appears to be kind of a little bit briefer, but a little bit more brief. But again, it's hard to say because this is so disorganized. We're not going to let our guard down from Montague and into the town of Nocona here and up towards Lake Nocona and into Capps Corner here, northeastern parts of Montague County. Now, St. Joe, we're watching you too. You're under this warning as well. There's some areas of rotation just west of you. So we'll just have to see how this all kind of evolves here. But at least initially, the worst of it appears to stay west of St. Joe but we'll have to see if any of this stuff can kind of get going. Cameron, you got a pretty good feed there on the tracker. Looks like you got some pretty low, dark hanging clouds there in the foreground. What are you seeing and where are you at?
Yeah, Ken, I'm sitting just 10 miles south of downtown Montague, so we're cutting in from the southeast of Montague, so we're cutting in from. So we're pushing in towards Montague, and we're, like I said, just 10 miles south. Right now, all I see, though, is just some dark clouds, but the one thing I can share that I've noticed is these storms are still pulling in a lot of warm, humid air right now, and you know, when we look at these storms, one of the things, like, you know, how are the winds flowing, you know, compared to the storms? How, you know, where's the moisture? Where is it pulling moisture from, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, the surface winds are pretty good, seeing probably maybe 10 to 20 miles per hour at the surface out here, Ken. And you're also seeing a lot of what we call scud, or just low level moisture continuously flowing into these storms. So these storms are continuing to ingest good air, good healthy air to help continue keep these storms going. But like I said, we're just 9 miles south of Montague, so we'll be there in only a couple of minutes, and we'll be right in downtown Montague. So what we're doing, though, we're going to watch that storm that's up near Montague, getting right back on that storm, and then we'll also keep an eye on the rest of the line as well, because it's kind of messy on radar with a lot of these things. Ken, you could see maybe some notches happening within the line as well, but now you're starting to see some better detail of the storm now as we're coming up closer to it right now, Ken. So starting to get some better visuals on this thing right now, but still just slightly a hair too far outside to be really pinpointing some things in the storm right now, Ken. But we'll be there in just a matter of a couple minutes.
Looks like a little wall cloud in there maybe, but we'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to go back to radar at this point in time, and as you heard Cameron say, it said on radar we call it messy, because there's a lot of heavy rain, and a lot of this stuff is embedded within heavy rain. There's been multiple areas of a rotation, or what looks like rotation, and you know, and it makes it real difficult on radar to pick out exactly what's going on within this. There could be multiple small tornadoes developing within this. I still see decent rotation, or at least some spin in there, southeast of Montague and kind of east of Montague. This is going to be moving right up there towards between, or maybe close to St. Joe, and just east in Nocona. So it looks like, unless this thing jogs a little bit to the left, you know, at least some of this will miss Nocona. But Nocona, you are getting some very heavy rain at this point in time, and there's some hail coming in from the south. Could be large. But in addition to that, again, we got multiple areas of rotation. We're watching to your south. And we could be seeing several areas there just west of Montague moving into Nocona, where we see strong wind gusts, and maybe a couple different areas where there could be maybe a tornado or two. And you're also seeing what looks to me like some pretty strong rotation trying to develop east of Montague and south of Montague as well. But again, a lot of this is very, very difficult to see. Even watching Cameron's feed, it's just everything is real difficult. But if you look down to the south, we're also watching this area of rotation spin just north of Jacksboro here, moving due north and northeast towards Post Oak. So we'll have to keep an eye on that part of the storm too. No warning out for that yet, but we'll see if that one continues to try to show any signs of increasing a bit there in intensity there this afternoon here. Now, one thing also about these storms over in Montague County, they're kind of on the edge of the radar screen, so that also is going to make it difficult to tell what's going on. But still looks like a pretty significant rotation just northeast of Montague, and this is going to cross Highway 82 near and just east of Nocona. And you know, St. Joe, you're not out of the woods. I cannot put anybody out of the woods over here because of the multiple areas we're seeing of gusty winds and or perhaps maybe a tornado here. About to cross Highway 82, then it's going to head up towards Cap's Corner here. So Lake Nocona is we're kind of right over in this area. There's Lake Nocona, there's the town of Nocona, and there's your multiple areas of rotation. I believe this is going to be some strong winds in the back side of it here. And this is going to be what appears to me would be your rotation. So if this continues to move northeast, it moves more at Cap's Corner and less at Lake Nocona. But if this thing were to turn a little bit to the left, it could get at least the east side of Lake Nocona and the east side of Nocona. The Weather Service has replaced the confirmed tornado warning with just a radar indicated tornado warning at this time. And as you've heard Cameron say, it's so rain wrapped. Pretty good picture there, Cameron. Cameron, looks like you got a lot of scud there in that cloud, and maybe a wall cloud there to the right.
Yeah, Ken, definitely a lot of scud, and you know, we still got a lot of trees out here just southeast of Montague, but I do believe that does look to me like a bit of a wall cloud right now. I'm not close enough quite yet to make sure it's not a mezzo, but yeah, oh yeah, that's definitely a wall cloud. That's a pretty pretty big wall cloud too, Ken. You can see it right there. You got a lot of moisture flowing into the storm right now still too. So, you know, another thing to also get into some spotty cell service as well, Ken. So if you lose our stream for a second, that's why. But definitely looks like we do have a bit of a wall cloud coming together out here just southeast of Montague.
All right, we'll continue to watch that there and make sure that doesn't do anything. But yeah, there are areas of rotation. There's multiple areas of rotation over there this afternoon, Cameron. Just a beastly thunderstorm, just a big thunderstorm here. And like I said, we're just seeing several areas of some rotation. A lot of it's kind of broad. You know, it's kind of broadened out. But there's still, with it being on the edge of the radar, and this thing could really still recycle and could produce another large tornado at just about any time. I'm reading the Weather Service and see if there's anything new coming from the Weather Service here. So just City of Bowie Department to close streets. A lot of flooding taking place right now in Bowie. Large hail up in Montague and from Benita to Nocona to Montague. No reports of tornadoes. But no reports of tornadoes there right now. But Cameron's got a really nice wall cloud there, looks like, on the feed there. Cameron, where are you at? Where's that little wall cloud at?
Yeah, Ken, I'm sitting just south of Montague. It doesn't really match up too well with the radar. I want to say it's a wall cloud. It has wall cloud looking structure to it, and you've got moisture continuously flowing into it as well. But I can't necessarily I do believe that is a wall cloud though, but we're sitting just south of Montague by 4 miles. So that would be located just about southeast of downtown Montague right now, Ken.
It's a very large storm, Cameron, as you know. And it's got multiple areas of rotation, or appears to have multiple areas of rotation on it there. You might be just seeing, we might be seeing a new mesocyclone develop on the backside of that. The first one may be occluding northeast of Montague, and we should be seeing another area of strong rotation now developing just south of Nocona here. And you can almost see what looks like a clear slot in there, Cameron. Is that what we're seeing there, clear slot? Let's bring Cameron's feet up. Is that what we're seeing, a clear slot?
Yeah, I do believe that is a clear slot, Ken. I do believe that is a clear slot. But I tell you, we're about to actually going to keep pushing north a little bit because I don't want to lose this storm. So we're going to keep pushing north. We're probably going to pass through Montague, maybe go towards the Nocona area as well. So we're back in position on the storm, watching it closely again now. I do see that area of rotation. Again, this storm just is so messy on radar. It's been hard to keep up with, again, like pinpointing exactly where to go with it. But it does look like it's maybe trying to organize again on the back end. So that's kind of what we're playing and kind of what we're, I guess, betting on. So your best area of rotation does look to be between right in between Montague and Nocona right now, so that's what we're going to go keep an eye on right now. We're only maybe 5 or so miles south of that, so we won't be far from keeping an eye on that rotation, Ken.
You can actually kind of see the wall cloud there. And of course, you might be seeing another one develop there. Hard to say because I'm not out in the field, but to the right there, it looked like there's, in the rain, it looked like there was a pretty blocky wall cloud in there. You got to keep going right. Yeah, you can see it right there. It looks like there's a wall cloud in there. You can almost kind of see that, that horseshoe shape, which would be the RFD coming around it, and that would be your clear slot. So keep on going and get in position, Cameron. We'll keep an eye on that. We're going back to the radar. So if you're in Nocona, a couple things I'm watching at this point in time. This is getting really close to the town of Nocona here. So we're seeing one area of rotation, one possible tornado maybe about to cross just east of Nocona there, right over Highway 82. Between St. Joe and Nocona. That's the one that's been the most consistent area of rotation, and maybe a possible tornado there with that crossing right over 82 just east of Nocona. Now, south of Nocona, a couple things could possibly be taking place. It could be some strong winds on the backside of it, or it could be a new, what we call mesocyclone, new area of rotation has developed there. You can see it with this particular velocity product here. And this is going to be just a hair south. So if you're in Nocona, now I don't have any confirmations of tornado with this, and it's embedded in rain. You won't see. Matter of fact, you can see a good picture. Cameron, that's a good picture you got there. Is that, looks like a pretty low-hanging wall cloud there, very close to Nocona. Is that right? It's looking northward. And it does look like, at least whenever he gets in the open, you can see the low-hanging cloud there, the blockiness. So that's what you call a wall cloud. That's an area of low pressure that develops because you have different motions and winds there. So you've got inflow coming into the storm from one side. You got what we call the rear flank downdraft are winds descending on the back side there. It's these two opposite motions and these winds that create these little areas of low pressure. That's a pretty blocky wall cloud. Cameron, can you hear me at this time?
Yeah, Ken, I can hear you. Definitely a really blocky wall cloud. It does look like it was, I would say it was bigger looking a couple minutes ago, but it's still pulling really good air, and this thing is dead ahead of us right now, but it's a pretty large wall cloud this time. Does have some good lowering to it. I don't see a funnel cloud at this time, but it definitely does have some lowering attached to it. Maybe there's a funnel cloud with it, but it's still pulling in. You can see the air flowing right ahead of us, so you can see all that scud rising right into the storm. So it is pulling in, still pulling in good, healthy air, and we're sitting, again, just 1 mile south of downtown Montague, so we're pretty close to Montague right now. Just about to maybe make a course change. We're moving pretty good with this storm right now, Ken, but a big blocky wall cloud is for sure. I don't see anything necessarily too low right now, but I'm getting blocked by trees once again. It's also starting to get a little darker as well, so it does make it a bit more difficult, but definitely a big wall cloud at this time. I don't see a funnel cloud right now, though, Ken. That's the big thing. I do not see a funnel cloud right now, but this is definitely an organizing wall cloud. It has a lot of scud moving into it, so it's pulling in a lot of good air right now, Ken. So this thing could, could be trying to produce. So if you are, obviously Ken will cover radar, but this is definitely a time, if you're not in your tornado safe spot, you need to be in your tornado safe spot now.
Keep that in the lower left-hand corner. There's a lot of motion in that, but there's your spin. And it does have a pretty good couplet right in this area. So there's the first one. It's really hard to see. That one appears to have weakened, but this is the new spin that developed on the back side of it, and this is going to move right over Nocona here shortly. So if you are in Nocona, I do see rotation here on radar. It's got a pretty good little tight spin signature in here. And remember, this tornado, this storm, this supercell thunderstorm has had a history of producing tornadoes, and lots of them at that here. You can see Cameron's feed getting pretty close there of it. You're seeing lots of spin here in this, and this is about to cross Nocona. So in Nocona, let's go to Cameron. Cameron, that's pretty low-hanging cloud there. Is that a tornado trying to develop there over in Nocona?
I'm trying to tell. I just got into Montague, Ken, so I'm cutting through the eastern, coming in on the west side of Montague right now, or the south side, I should say. So I'm pushing towards the storm still, keep an eye. But it's definitely, this place did just have that storm come through not too long ago. I haven't seen any major damage to report of as well. But right now, I'll say there's some traffic building, but got a lot of leaves and such in the road right now. Nothing major, nothing big time damage out here right now. But trying to get back closer to this thing, get a clear line of sight on the storm to keep an eye on that wall cloud that was really blocky. I haven't seen anything try to come out of it at this time, but maybe, I can't tell if it looks like it might be trying to come together, Ken.
It's hard to tell, Cameron. We're going back to the radar here. I'll keep your feet in the box down there, but you see multiple areas of rotation still, and we still got that one that's crossing Highway 82. Now you got 2 areas of rotation, and that area it again appears to be lifting north, and that's going to move on the northeast side, and east side of Nocona, and head right at Lake Nocona. So earlier we were talking about how we thought it might miss Lake Nocona, but now it looks like it's going to head right at Lake Nocona. So we've got 2 areas of rotation we're watching, one right over Nocona and one south of Lake Nocona crossing Highway 82, both of which are lifting to the north here. I do not have anything, see rotation Montague remains broad, strongest rotation south of Bonita. So from the Weather Service, they still don't have anything confirmed as far as anything significant with the tornado, but again, this is so far away from the radar site, it's very, very difficult to tell exactly just how strong the rotation is. Of course, the best thing you can have is Cameron out there at that feed. Cameron, that's a pretty good little shot of the wall cloud there, right?
Yeah, it's a wall cloud right there directly in front of us right now. Again, still don't see anything lowering out of it. It looks like it is becoming it looks like it might be becoming slightly disorganized right now, Ken. So that is good news there, but this is a ground scraping cloud right now, Ken. And we're sitting, just for reference, we're sitting just north of downtown Montague now on 175. So this thing's pretty close to us right now, and we're okay, but we're sitting just right by it right now, Ken. I can't tell if it's gonna try to go or not. It's definitely gonna try. It's gonna be a matter of if it can, though.
Let's go back to the radar. So we got a couple things again. We'll go back over here, and we got a couple things. Number one, we've got this is the area of consistent rotation we've seen for a while. You can see the greens and the reds here that are kind of moving over Highway 82 here between St. Joe and Nocona. This is lifting north, and this is and if it were to push back a little bit to the left, and the way these storms are, the way they've been dancing around the parent mesocyclone, This could at least go across the eastern parts of Lake Nocona. That's Lake Nocona there, by the way. A lot of lake houses out this way. There's a lot of trailers and mobile homes, and when you get into the warmer months, you have a lot of people that go to the lake here. So we could have some people out there, and you could have a tornado lifting in your area. I don't see anything that's confirmed on Cameron's feed. I don't see anything that's confirmed with the radar here, but the rotation areas are certainly there. Another one is right over Nocona, over the town itself here. You can see this is what we call the rear flank downdraft. These are the winds that they're sinking down the backside of the storm, and then there would be your rotation coming back into Nocona. So we do have a bit of a circulation there. There's your new tornado warning out. That would be for this part of the storm crossing Highway 82. This would include Lake Nocona and Spanish Fork and extreme southeastern parts of Jefferson County up towards Adderley. So we'll see. Again, these things have just been dancing around this afternoon. That near Nocona here, but will also be something to keep an eye on as well. And there has been other, looks like we lost some radar feeds there for a moment. Hopefully that's not permanent. But there's the feed. This this is so close to the edge of the radar, it makes it real difficult to see, exactly what's going on here with this part of the storm. But we do have rotation that's just now crossed Highway 82 there, and when you see the different colors, that's different radar sites. But there it is, about to cross FM 1956. And from there, and this is so wrapped in rain, this is going to head up, probably hailing out at Lake Nocona now, and the rotating part, possible tornado will be moving over there shortly. We can look at other parts of these. Look at all this heavy rain back off to the west and southwest, flooding rains, especially over the eastern parts of the area here. And you got these storms now lined up all the way to the south. Look at that. And it's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of flooding over here into eastern and southeastern parts of Montague County, or Texoma here. Heavy rain now, Graham, over to just north of Jacksboro, into Windthorst, parts of Wichita Falls seeing some heavy rain. But the severe threat's going to be a lot lower up, outside of these storms developing right along the frontal boundary. But there's a lot of them really going now. You may see a transition from tornado-like winds to just some strong thunderstorm winds as this tries to continue to organize, maybe so. But it is right on the edge of the radar, so it makes it real difficult to see. But this is the radar beam is hitting up pretty high, so it's real difficult to tell. But still looks like maybe a bit of a tornado, maybe a weak one, or possible tornado there about to cross 1956 just west of Capps Corner. And from there, it'll just kind of head up towards the eastern, may brush the eastern shores of Lake Nocona. And then we'll watch, for signs. There's a little bit of rotation, weak rotation, maybe between Nocona and north of Montague here. And again, these are all so wrapped in rain, it's going to be hard to see. Now, earlier I was tracking a little area of weak rotation up north of Jacksboro, and you still see some little spins here or there, but again, it's just nothing major, nothing to be worried about. Only thing in town we're going to be concerned with at this point in time will be Nocona and will be Montague. Let me go to my Nocona tower cam here and see if there's any, if we can see anything there. Probably just a lot of heavy rain. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see anything from our Nocona tower cam. It's just raining heavily. But there is the downtown area. There is a little rotation there over the city, but nothing major. No tornadoes at this point in time. In fact, Weather Service, continues to, say just, continues just the warning, but I don't see anything in terms of confirmation. Cameron, you guys look like you're stopped in the tracker here. Where are you at, and what are you seeing at your vantage point at this point in time?
Yeah, I'm just a couple miles north of Montague right now on 175 right now, and the reason I'm stopped and I'm looking at radar just to kind of see, because it's kind of, I'll say it's getting difficult now, but it's getting dark and there's lightning, but it's not as as frequent as I'd like it to be able to see. So it's raining very hard. It's because that visibility is very, very low. But what I'm watching for is this storm is still continuing to build off to the south. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on with the way the storm has trended. See if maybe it wants to try to cycle off to the south once again, because you might potentially on radar see another area of rotation trying to come together south, just about east, west southwest of Montague right now, Ken. So that's what I'm watching as well, just in case this does try to spin on the backside once again. But that wall cut, I don't say I don't have any visibility, but I mean my visibility is very low with the rain and it's getting dark, so it's hard to see now, Ken. But I don't have anything visually to share with you right now. But I'm just watching radar right now, seeing what's going on with this storm right now.
My Facebook feed went down, so if you've been trying to watch us over in this area over on social media, we also keep losing us. I think we're losing a little internet connection here or there, but we're working to get that fixed. I got it back up. Cameron, the latest radar signature is pretty impressive there. Looks like the rotation has increased quite a bit, just barely along Highway 82, right over about 1956 between Nocona and Capps Corner. At least from this vantage point, a pretty good little uptick in rotation there. So we may see a little spin up that's trying to develop and may move right over the south and the east side of Lake Nocona here. So we just need to keep a close eye on that at this point in time. So I'm going to see if I don't know if my son and his fiance are out there at their lake house, but I'm going to see if they are, and they give me a report what they're seeing there. Well, I tried to anyway. They may not be there, but anyway, but just on this latest little scan, it kind of went away. But you know, we'll just have to keep an eye on this stuff here. It'll be here, then it goes away. It's here and then goes away. But what's been happening this afternoon, if you're wondering why, and this is this evening now too, wondering why the worst of the storm threat is over this way, is because of this frontal boundary. We talked about this yesterday, and he said this would determine who sees what. But this frontal boundary is kind of draped right into this area here. This would be what's called the warm side of it, and this is the cool side. These are all what we call elevated thunderstorms back in this direction here, okay? Elevated means that their bases are up higher in the atmosphere. That means that their level of imbalance or instability is up higher in the atmosphere. They don't have access to anything at the Earth's surface because it's too cool at the Earth's surface. So they develop up higher. They're mostly rain, thunder, and lightning, and maybe a little hail production here or there. Now, along the frontal boundary itself, as storms can anchor along the frontal boundary, they are able to suck in this warm, humid air that's out ahead of it into these storms. Also, along a frontal boundary, the winds tend to spin kind of horizontally. And as these thunderstorms come along, you have this rising air. It causes that horizontal air to become vertical. So that's what you see. That's why a boundary can always increase your chances of a tornado. And you know, we kind of talked about this yesterday. We thought the threat might be a little bit higher for some tornadoes along that boundary today, and that's kind of happened. To kind of reset the situation, this storm kind of got going south of Jacksboro, produced multiple tornadoes along its way, most of which were near Jacksboro. I've seen some video, a pretty large tornado, but it didn't appear to be super strong. And we've seen multiple tornadoes, kind of at least some spin-ups maybe there into Montague County, but nothing major. At this point in time, still got a little bit of a spin up there, just about to approach the eastern shores of Lake Nocona. This is moving north, so it's going to kind of parallel or maybe kind of run up the lake here pretty soon. Nocona itself, the town of Nocona, of course, we're not going to completely let any guard down, but it looks like the tornado threat is past you, but you're still seeing a lot of rain and hail. And that hail threat is now shifted northern into the northern parts of Montague County, right over Lake Nocona. And it's going to be moving right over Spanish Fort and into southeastern Jefferson County here. Of course, it looks like Cameron's feed is down, you know, spotty cell phone service. But this has had multiple, you know, areas of rotation in it this afternoon and this evening, and it continues to do that. But you really can't, since it's so far away from the radar site, that you can't really judge, you know, oftentimes just how strong, you know, the tornado could be, if there is one. But just based upon this image and the way it's been, this has been a persistent area of rotation from the Jacksboro area all the way to where it is now. It's probably produced some tornadoes along the way, but it's so wrapped in rain, it's going to be really difficult. A lot of this area out here is fairly rural as well. So it's hard to tell exactly what it is. And, you know, you still see some rotation, but even with this update, it's not quite as strong. But again, this is along Highway 1956. This is lifting north and kind of moving over the eastern shores of Lake Nocona here, or headed kind of in that direction. But based upon the radar, while I do see some spin, it doesn't appear to be super strong. So I'm not certain that we have a tornado with this. If we do, it's probably pretty small. It could be fairly weak. There's also some other areas down towards Nocona, but nothing major at this point in time. But there is your warning here. It does cover the northeastern parts of Montague County. And this little spin is, again, headed towards the eastern or just east of Lake Nocona here. And then from there, it will jump on the other side of the Red River up into southeastern Jefferson County. Cameron, looks like we got the feedback from you again, but it's pretty dark out there. Kind of hard to see anything at this point in time.
Yeah, Ken, you nailed it. It is. The visibility and the driving conditions are not great right now. We're just 3 miles south of Nocona right now, and the rain is blinding rain out here. You got the strobe effect with the lightning, so there is a good bit of lightning. But we were going to go for that storm near Nocona, but its rotation has started to drop off pretty well. So that being said, we are just going to go to Nocona. We're still watching over Montague. I don't know. I'm just watching that storm over Montague, Ken, because it's trying to maybe hook a little bit just southwest or just west of Montague. And again, it's just been that area has been the hot spot for these storms. It might be just catching the boundary just right there. So we're keeping an eye on that, and it will only a couple miles north of Montague, so we can drop south again. But yeah, the big thing right now is that these are, if it does produce tornado, it's going to be very hard to see because of the blinding rain effect. Plenty of lightning, of course, but it's starting to get dark as well, so it does make it difficult too. But that's about it right now, Ken. We'll be in Nocona in 2 minutes, and then from there, we're keeping an eye on the storm that's currently over Montague right now, and see if that wants to try to spin at all as well.
All right, well, it just still looks like to me there still might be a tornado there moving over the lake itself, Lake Nocona. But it's again, it's right there on the outside of most of our radar feeds, which we got from Fort Worth and Oklahoma City. I might can pull something out of Oklahoma City. You might be able to see it a little better there, but no, it's really kind of hard. There's from Frederick, but so difficult to see. And it does appear to me that a lot of these storms that have been rotating are starting to produce more in the way of strong gusty winds and less in the way like winds moving in one direction instead of winds moving in multiple directions. So that is certainly some good news. I mean, I do look down to the south, kind of towards the Jacksboro area, Antelope, and you can see some strong winds with some of those storms down that way. I believe that a lot of that stuff's going to be just north of the frontal boundary. Frontal boundary kind of lies southeast of Graham, Jacksboro, and in the Bowie area. That's kind of where it's at. So these thunderstorms kind of developing along that boundary, and now the main upper air storm system's kicking out. Those storms, instead of riding along the boundaries, they're pushing north of it into the cooler air. So they get elevated pretty fast, which eliminates the tornado potential. Now out here, down ahead of the main main storm system, you got a lot of lift taking place, and you got some bigger thunderstorms developing. And these, as they lift northward tonight, could produce some tornadoes maybe. You can see a confirmed tornado down there near San Angelo and kind of southwest of Abilene. But over at least most of our area, just heavy rain, especially the eastern parts of the area. And then later on tonight, you might see maybe a bit of a push upward in some of these heavier rain areas. Again, we're just kind of focused on this big thunderstorm, this big supercell. Hail has just now crossed the Red River into Spanish Fort, and will be moving over the southeastern parts of Jefferson County. This storm is almost lifting northward now. There have been areas of rotation within it, but their rotation appears to be weakening a bit. I'm not going to jump off until this storm is clear of Lake Nocona. We got a lot of viewers out there that watch us and depend upon us, so I'm not going to jump off until I feel like we're in the clear. If this storm was just some random storm and hadn't had a history of producing tornadoes, we might let it go since the rotation is weakened a bit. It's kind of broad. It's just a broad area of rotation now showing up on the radar northeast of Nocona and over Lake Nocona. But it looks like to me anyway that the tornadic circulation has weakened quite a bit, but there still might be a spin up there moving over Lake Nocona and then kind of lifting up north towards Spanish Fort here, perhaps maybe even. We can look down to the south, and we don't really see much in the way of rotation in any of these storms down here, just some heavy rain producers. But we'll see what happens this evening. I will say that we do have an area of low pressure that's kind of developing here. I don't think the frontal boundary is going to back up much now, but there's still going to be the possibility that we could still see, some pretty significant severe storms maybe kind of over into this area perhaps tonight. So we'll continue to watch this storm. It's mostly now lifting north of Nocona, the worst part of it. Now, I know in Nocona you might think, you've got to be crazy. It's pouring down rain. It is pouring down rain. There may be some hail. But the worst part of that storm really appears to have now lifted to the north of there. It continues to show some signs of rotation, but nothing major at this point in time. It looks like for the most part, it appears as though it's kind of lost some of its real tight rotation. It could try to cycle back up and spin back up. But if you're up towards Lake Nocona, maybe a spin up, but that's really about it. Maybe crossing the Red River, maybe Spanish Fort. There could be some spin ups in your area, but you can see where you had that red and green, where you saw that possible little weak tornado just east of Lake Nocona, but that's kind of going away now. So the storm appears to have weakened a little bit, which is certainly some good news here. So heavy rain and hail appear to be the main threat, along with some gusty winds at this point in time with this thunderstorm. As it lifts up towards Spanish Fort and kind of crosses the river there, there could be some pretty significant hail there at this point in time. So there's that is certainly something to kind of keep an eye on. So Cameron, it looks like you got a lot of lightning where you're at, heavy rain. Are you in Nocona right now?
Yeah, Ken, we just got to Nocona. I'm going to grab some gas and all that. But the big thing out here, Ken, the flooding in Nocona is pretty bad. Coming in from the south out of Montague, there was like surging water coming down the street. So the flooding in Nocona is pretty rough right now. So the road we came down between Montague and Nocona was borderline undrivable because, I mean, the water coming down, it was surging water. I mean, it looked like a river coming down the side of these streets. So flooding definitely is a big concern with these as well, because this is a lot of rain coming down all at once, and these storms are training behind each other. So it is going to, again, pose a flooding risk with these storms as well. So we're going to grab some gas really quick, Ken, and then do another assessment on the radar.
Do now is, since the storm appears to be, at least from the tornadic standpoint, appears to be weakening some, I'm going to jump off of News Channel 6 and go back to programming there. But I'm going to stay live on Facebook and the app, the 24/7 app, our channel app there on the News Channel 6 app. Or you can go to our website, News Channel 6, and watch live. So we're going to stay live there, but we're going to jump off of News Channel 6. So we're going to go back to programming on that.